everyone. So in this video I want to show you all the breeding projects that I have in my fish room, and I will also use this opportunity to just show you everything that I have currently in my fish tanks in this fish room. It's been, I think, a couple of months since I've done an overview of all fish and all breeding projects that I have in here, and there's actually quite a lot that has happened ever since. So let's get started, and I'll switch on the lights here. Well, normally I do not use these lights up here. This is an LED lamp. But for the purposes of this video I will switch them on, because otherwise there's just tons of reflection and difficult to see anything. So I'll start with this tank here. This is about 100-liter tank with my breeding colony of Hypancistros King Tiger L333. This is probably the easiest breeding project that I have here, because you don't really have to do anything for them to breed, apart from providing them with suitable conditions, which is high temperature, regularly changed water, and high protein diet, and they will breed as long as there are compatible pairs. I believe I have 2 pairs in here, maybe 3 actually, but it's hard to say because a male can breed with several females, and I have here 4 males and 5 females. So I have here quite a lot of juveniles of different ages and different sizes, and they all live among all of these pipes and caves and things like this. So yeah, it's hard to say, but probably 20 or 30 juveniles are here of different ages, possibly more. I don't quite know. If you are interested, I can make a separate sort of a video about breeding Hypancistros L333 King Tiger Plecos, and more details about my setup, but that's what it is for now. So moving on. In here I have a breeding pair of dwarf Flagacara, or Letacara corviceps in Latin. So this is a pair with a group of fry. The fry are actually already quite large. They're feeding on baby brine shrimp, and to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed with breeding dwarf Flagacara, because the fry are born tiny, so I spent literally 2 weeks feeding them on infusoria, and only after that they started feeding on baby brine shrimp. And whether you believe it or not, these fry are approximately 3.5 weeks old. They're absolutely tiny. I feed them about 4 or 5 times with live baby brine shrimp, and they always have plump bellies, so they're not going hungry, and I don't understand why they're growing so slowly, because it just takes them ages to grow. And yeah, so this is a prolific pair, but I think it's gonna be the last spawn that I'm going to take from them. And there are a lot of babies actually. There's probably maybe around 100 of them or something like that. I've never bred dwarf Flagacara before, so it's a new experience for me. They're very good parents with strong parental instincts, and yes, they will be absolutely intolerable of any other fish in their breeding setup. So definitely not desert fish or anything like that. They will kill anybody. But yeah, the big problem is that the fry are really slow growing. It's just taking them forever to grow into relatively decently sized juveniles. So I don't know how long it will take me to grow this fry into juveniles. So moving on with the next breeding project tank. This is a tank where I breed Corydoras duplicareus. So I had my breeding trio in here, so, and now there are probably like at least 60 or even more Corydoras duplicareus juveniles, and I've thrown some Corydoras pellets in here to sort of lure them out, because whenever I approach this tank they will all go into hiding. But now we will see them slowly coming out, and there are just tons of them in here. Well, also just like in case of Hypancistros plecos, I would consider this breeding project as a very easy project as long as you have a breeding group of Corydoras duplicareus and as long as you create proper conditions for them to breed, which is a cooler water, clean water, lots of food, and no fish that will feed on the eggs. As long as you have all of these conditions, they will breed prolifically. And I have tons of them in here. So I have some deezer fish here as well. You can see this black skirt or black widow tethers in here because they're very active and outgoing, and Corydoras are obviously very nervous fish. So these black skirt tethers, they help Corydoras to be a bit more confident and outgoing. I also have here a solo black neon tetra. This particular neon tetra is actually probably like 5 years old. I think he outlived all other black neon tetras that I've had for years, and I should probably get him some company, but I keep on forgetting about that. So along with Corydoras duplicareus, I have here a group of Corydoras aeneus, wild caught bronze coris, and I've never managed to spawn them actually. Well, you can see here a bulldog pleco, Caetastoma formosa, trying to grab all the food to itself. So I've never had any success with Corydoras aeneus, and definitely I have males and females in this group, and I'll try to film them. And I was hoping by keeping them here, all the hormones from duplicareus breeding will sort of encourage them into breeding as well. But so far, well, I keep on seeing eggs here on the glass and elsewhere, but obviously I don't know whether these are duplicareus eggs or Corydoras aeneus eggs. So I've never seen any juvenile aeneus in here, but as I see it in here, you can see more and more duplicareus coming out, and there are absolutely tons of them in here. I'd love to reduce their numbers. I'd love to sell some of them, but the problem being is that the moment I come close to this tank, they will all go into hiding, and the only way for me to actually catch anyone here is by removing all the decorations from this tank, which I'm still reluctant on doing, but I know that eventually I'll have to do that, and I'll have to catch at least like 30 of them to sell them out. Now you see actually the larger ones coming out to feed, but there are also tons of smaller juveniles, probably like 20 of them or something like this. They usually hide in those Christmas moss bunches around the tank. So what you see now is not even 20% of all the Corydoras that I have in here. There's absolutely tons of them. Sometimes they cover the whole bottom. And moving on, so downstairs I have a larger tank with a collection of fish that I'm not really planning to breed and which are not likely to breed for me. Well, I have here this breeding pair of pearl gouramis actually, and this was a bit of a sort of a impulse purchase. I've seen them at the local pets at home, and they've looked sort of miserable, malnourished, and kind of feeling sorry for themselves, so I had to get them. And pearl gourami, well, certainly do not fit into my kind of a South American collection of fish, but otherwise, well, I have kind of a warm feelings for pearl gourami because they used to be the first fish I used to keep when I was a child, so them and Zebrodanius, and that was decades ago, so I still have some feelings for pearl gouramis, I would put it that way. And I actually enjoy this pair. They're quite bright and active, They've already spawned a few times. Well, there are some parts of a nest, bubble nest, in the back, and there were quite a few of tiny fry swimming in floating plants, but I guess they were all picked up by school of glow light tetras that I have in here. And I also have here a solo microgeophagus ramirezi, and that's actually a wild caught fish. It's hiding somewhere. It was also in a really bad shape. I saw it at a local pet store. Oh, that's a fish I was talking about. So it has all sort of a damage to its fins. It's a wild caught fish. It has all these swellings and probably parasites that used to be there, but it's healed now, so it's healthy, but it still doesn't look very presentable or doesn't look very nice. But nevertheless, it's a nice and active fish that I want to give a forever home in this tank. Other than that, I have here quite a few other Corydoras, which I will try to entice with some Corydoras pellets. I've added some Corydoras pellets, and I'm hoping that some of the Corydoras will come out. There's actually more than 20 of them. There's a group of Corydoras granti, formerly known as Corydoras arcuatus. This is this fish here, and there is a couple, well, not a breeding pair, but just two Corydoras brevirostris, which you see in here, and Corydoras elegans in the back. And here we see a whole bunch of Corydoras granti coming out to feed. And I also have here Corydoras pulcher, which are difficult to film. Yeah, so these are all the collection of Corydoras that are not likely to breed for me without being conditioned for breeding. So if I subject them to lower temperatures and then to warmer temperatures, if I feed them live foods, I will stand the chance of probably having them to breed, but other than that, they're just not responsive. I keep all sort of fish in this tank, which are mostly for display rather than for anything else, and this turns out to be a relatively beautifully looking tank, although it's not kind of a properly scaped or properly planted, but there's lots of plants that are growing in here quite well. And moving on to a tank nearby. So what I have in here is actually quite a few different fish, but the most valuable fish being here are this group of blue Congo tetras. So these are silvery bluish fish with this black dot next to their tails. The Latin name is Alestopetersius micolai, and it's actually a very rare tetra from Nigeria. So they're relatives of Congo tetra, but they're not from Congo, and males actually have also this extended dorsal fin similarly to Congo tetras. Very difficult to find them here in the UK, and I'm planning to breed them actually. I have some, well, I have capacity. I have a free tank where I'm planning to spawn them, but for now I'm trying to get them conditioned, so I'm feeding them on a variety of foods, frozen foods, live foods, to get them beefed up a bit, because well, I only have one male here, which is unfortunate, but yeah, I'll try to do what I can with just one male. And 6 females. Well, you can see the male right in front right now. It's kind of a bluish with a longer dorsal fin. And yes, 6 females, but all of these females are kind of seen, so they don't seem to be having any eggs on them at the moment, so that's why I need to feed them up. I need to power feed them and to make sure that they gain a bit weight and they are prepared for breeding. On the bottom you can see a female Pelvicochromis taeniatus, the Hane. I bought a pair and they spawned, but unfortunately when they spawned, like literally the 3rd day, and once the fry have hatched, I've lost the male because he choked on a bloodworm, and it was unfortunate. Female couldn't protect and couldn't raise the fry alone, so all of the fry was lost as well. I'll probably need to find her another mate. she's really beautiful, and male was really beautiful as well, so that's very unfortunate. I haven't had creeps, so Pelvicochromis cribensis type of fish for many years, and I forgot that it's better not to feed them with bloodworms, and I've done that unfortunately, so that's my mistake. I also have here a group of X-ray tetras, Pristella maxilis, which I keep here mostly as a deezer fish for blue diamond tetras, because blue diamond tetras are really shy and elusive, so they will go absolutely nuts if I keep them here by themselves. And the X-ray tetras are kind of the closest similar looking fish to blue diamond tetras that I could find at the local pets at home. So I've got a group of them, and they seem to be, well, not necessarily schooling, but probably shoaling with blue diamonds, which is sort of good enough for me. So the plan here is to condition blue diamond tetras and move them up into a breeding tank and get them to spawn. We are moving on further, and here is the tank where I was raising my pencil fish fry. So these are juveniles, F1 Nanostomus beckfordi, so-called red form from Brazil. It's hard to see them here, but there's 20 something of them in here, and they are already quite large, so I will move them elsewhere so I can use this tank for some other breeding projects. Yeah, I'm not going to breed Nanostomus beckfordi anymore because I already have tons of them. I have like 20 something in here, and I have more than 20 juveniles in our main display tank, and obviously they're not very popular, but they're sort of a very specialist fish, and there's no chance for me to sell them actually because nobody will buy them. And yeah, so it's just for my own sort of internal consumption, and I will keep them in my various tanks to make sure that I have a colony, and I have some breeding groups which I will breed when and if I need to, but for the time being this is what it is. Okay, in here I have an empty tank, sort of a quarantine system which I will use to breed the blue diamond tetras. Nothing special here, just a sponge filter and a bunch of Christmas moss in a bare bottom tank. Well, that's basically it. In here I have my blackworm culture. I can make a separate video about how I culture blackworms, so it's a very basic and simple setup which does provide me with fairly significant numbers of live blackworms. Over there I have my live infusoria culture. Not very active at the moment. I need to add a bit more yeast into it, and I need to kind of revive it, but it was providing me with quite a lot of infusoria when I was feeding my dwarf acara fry. So yeah, this is a functioning colony, but it does require some attention in order to function properly. Well, I hope you liked this brief video. Well, it's not too brief, but I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section or any questions, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and there will be more videos to come, and I'll see you soon.